my name is Kelsey Christensen, and I will be doing a speech on biodiversity conservation. In today's society, most of us don't think about the effects we have on wildlife. With biodiversity conservation, people need to focus on what happens to animals. Wildlife do many things that we, as humans, need them for, and if we keep developing, we will kill off the wildlife, or we will force them to move into towns, which will hurt them anyway. As said in Biomass magazine, the inability to see the world through other points of view is treacherous for relationships. For me, I think that it's most important when we think about biodiversity conservation. We need to look at it from the animal's point of view. We are just coming into their homes and destroying them for our own satisfaction. So, what is biodiversity conservation? According to Wikipedia, biodiversity is the most commonly used to replace the more clearly defined and long-established terms species diversity and species richness. To put this in more simple terms, biodiversity is the expansion into wildlife's territories. This is something that bothers me. The animals deserve something more. They are being pushed out of their homes and pushed into towns where people are killing them. We as a society can help by making sanctuaries for these animals or help them in any ways possible. We can by donating to foundations such as the many wildlife refuge places here in Nebraska. But how does it actually affect us in Nebraska? Nebraska has an abundant amount of wildlife. According to the Nebraska Game and Parks, Nebraska has at least 60 amphibian and reptile species, 80 fish species, 400 bird species, 85 mammal species, 32 mollusk species, and 1,470 plant species, and tens of thousands of invertebrate species. This just shows the importance of biodiversity conservation and the aspect that we need to help our animals. We need to show all these species that we want to help them, not hurt them by destroying their homes. In the same article, it also says, we have to maintain the diversity and abundance of Nebraska fish, wildlife, and their habitats. I feel that this is evident by that we, not only as people, but also as Nebraskans, need to be concerned about this and how it's affecting our state and our animals. Our animals count on us to help them whenever they need it, and not to expand into their territory and destroy it. Wildlife in the U.S. is dwindling. We are taking over wildlife lands and causing them to become more endangered and even more extinct. Along with biodiversity conservation, we also have to have an endangered species recovery plan. According to Wikipedia, an endangered species recovery plan is a document describing the current status, threats, and intent methods for increasing rare and endangered species population size. This is saying that we are hurting some of the animals enough to where we have to have a recovery plan. That is devastating to me because we should be helping these animals, not hurting them. According to the U.S. conservation laws, by providing state with financial assistance and increase the development to maintain conservation programs and Endangered Species Act, the Endangered Species Act serves as a method to meet many of the United States' international responsibilities to treaties and conservation, such as the Connection on International Trade in Endangered Species and the Western Hemisphere Conservation. All of the animals that are on my slideshow are endangered, even the crocodile and bald eagle, which most people don't think are endangered. These animals deserve better, and they're just trying to live their lives, and we are destroying their environment and their homes. People in the U.S. today don't think about how our expansion is hurting the wildlife. The expansion into wildlife territories is something that we need to fix. Wildlife do many things that we humans need them for, and if we keep developing, we will kill them off. Or we will make them move into towns, which can hurt them also. As said by the Nebraska Game of Parks, Nebraska diversity forms from Nebraska's natural heritage, a legend that could be treasured just as we treasure our current heritage.